climb the mountain. Climb the mountain. If you want to create the income you want for yourself, if you want to have the financial freedom you deserve, if you want to have the overall freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want, without having to deal with the boss, without having to deal with coworkers, without having to deal with customers, being in complete control of your life requires you to climb the mountain. But here's the problem. Most people never climb the mountain. Most people here's the problem. There's a river that circles underneath the mountain. And it runs around the entire mountain. 80% of people, statistically proven, in any field, could be making money, could be relationships, could be health, it could be in a certain job, it could be in a certain business. They don't even get off the river. They're just floating around the river, and they're going in the direction of the current. So the current's taking them here, then the current's taking them there. The current's taking them over here by some rocks, and they hit some rocks. Then the current's taking them over here, and they go into a slow spot in the river. The river represents life. Most people don't consciously stop, evaluate their life, and take control of their life. A small amount of people, very small amount of people, realize that they're not happy with where they are in life. And in the boat that they're floating around the river, they take the oars, they put them in the water, and they start steering. They start steering for the mountain. There's sometimes some adversity. Sometimes they're going for the mountain and the current's pushing them this way. Sometimes they're going for the mountain and one of the rows breaks. And they got to use one row. They got to sew the row back together, make another row. But what people do who get success is they don't just allow the current of life to take them in any direction life wants to take them. They stop, they decide where they want to go, and they start taking precise, consistent, measurable actions towards the mountain, towards getting where they want to go. So you talk to the average person, you say, hey, what do you do? Well, Bob is 35 years old, and Bob's dad was a carpenter, and Bob's grandpa was a carpenter, so Bob decided to be a carpenter. You talk to Joanne, you say, hey, Joanne, how did you get into this business? Well, I was in high school, and my best friend said she was going to go to school for this, so I said, hey, I decided I could go to school for this, and now I'm a nurse. And everyone else is a nurse, and nurse is a stable income, so I decided to be a nurse. And if that's what you want to do, fantastic. But if it's not, it's time that you start to evaluate your life, and you start to get the rows out from the boat, and you start to paddle towards the mountain. Now what's going to happen is when you do that, there's going to be friction, because the river's pushing you this way, and you're saying, I don't want to go this way, I want to go towards the mountain. It's going to be a little hard. There's going to be a little stress. There's going to be some adversity you have to overcome, but you eventually get to the mountain. And then once you get to the mountain, you start to climb. Climb the mountain. Now there's three kinds of people. The first kind is the most common kind, and they're the ones that float around the river. They never even stop. They don't even realize they're floating in the river. They're just going around life, and they're just bumping into things, and usually tragedies happen in their life that they could control, but they don't. They just kind of go with the flow of things, and this happens with a lot of things. This happens with sicknesses. They just get sick. They get diagnosed with something, or they have a heart attack, or they get diagnosed with diabetes, or some other disease. Well, if you look at their lifestyle, sometimes it could be genetics, but a lot of times it's, they've been eating shitty food, they've been smoking cigarettes, they've been drinking alcohol, they've been getting 3 hours of sleep for 10 years. They haven't been giving their body the correct fuel it needs. So, it keeps going downhill, and then boom, they hit a road bump, which is they get sick. A lot of things can be prevented if you do things starting now to prevent you from getting from getting sicknesses, from having financial challenges, from pretty much anything in life. So that's the first kind of person. They're just going around the river. The second kind of person, they say, I'm not happy with where I am in life. They row to the mountain, and they start to climb the mountain. They start to climb the mountain, and they start to build their business. They start to have success in their career. They start to have financial freedom. They start to get some financial freedom. They start to get the health that they want. Maybe they lose 30 pounds. They start getting in shape and they start meditating and they start eating healthy food. And they do that consistently. It's not just a burst. It's a lifestyle change that they do. And then they get halfway up the mountain. And then they camp. Maybe they quit their business. Or maybe they had a job. They quit their job. They started the business and they're making 150 grand a year in their business. So they're doing pretty good. They're in the top 2% of the wealthiest people in the United States. They're making 150 grand a year. And they camp. So they climb the mountain. It's a little hard. It's a little tough. I mean, they had to row to the mountain and they had to climb the mountain. They get halfway up the mountain and then they camp. And you know what? If that's what they want to do, fantastic. If they're happy camping, that's fantastic. You know, they started the business. They started it with nothing. They're making 150 grand a year. They don't have to have a job. They're making some decent money. They're saving some money. Maybe they're moving into a better home. And, you know, they're doing all right. But then there's the climbers. The climber is someone that's not just not happy with where they are in life. Once they start to have success, they're not even just happy with camping out, being in the middle of the mountain. They want to climb to the top. They want to go all the way to the top. They want to stand at the top of the mountain, having massive amounts of success, have making it, and have done something important and different in their life, have created a legacy. When they die, they want to pass on an amazing, profitable, growing business to their family that will live on for generations. They want to make an impact in the world. They want to make a dent in the universe and change the world in a dramatic way. Those people are the rare people. Those people are the people who are not only not happy with where they are. Once they get success, they're not only not happy with the success they have, they keep going, they keep climbing, they go all the way to the top. And they achieve an amazing amount of success and make an amazing difference in their life, in their family's life, in the community, and sometimes even they change the fabric of the world. My question for you is, who are you going to be? Who are you going to decide to be? I don't fucking care where you are up until this point. There's tons of examples of people who have been floating around in the river of life for years, decades, or even half a century, and then say, you know what? It's time for a change. They row to the mountain, and they climb all the way up to the top of the mountain. Colonel Sanders, the guy who started KFC, didn't start building his business till he retired. He retired at, I believe, the age of 65. He got his first Social Security check. He was so pissed off of the money that he made and that he didn't accomplish anything in his life. He almost committed suicide at the age of 65 or 62, whatever the age was. It was around the age of 62, 65. He said, you know what? I'm still young. I can do something with my life. He built KFC, and by the age of 88, he was a billionaire. Not a millionaire. Not making $1 million a year. A fucking billionaire. Anybody can do it. Anybody can climb, can swim to the mountain, can row to the mountain. Hell, maybe you should swim. Maybe you should jump off the boat you're on. Say fuck it and start swimming. You'd probably get there faster because you got less shit holding you back you got to deal with. Then climb the mountain to the top. What are you going to do? Which person are you going to be? These are the kind of thoughts. These are the kind of questions. These are the kind of ideas you need to let ponder in your brain in order for you to start the process of making a difference in your life and doing something amazing in your life because you deserve it. Because you don't deserve to live a mediocre life. You deserve awesomeness. You deserve to do something awesome with your life. But it's up to you to do it. You're watching this video now. You're looking at me. You are the only person who can make a change in your life and who can swim to the mountain and climb to the top. What are you going to do? What decision are you going to make? What actions are you going to take?